So I want to start by saying that I want to apologize to Rachel for asking her yesterday. I've been doing this for like 10 years. And I think it's really funny, but I need to stop doing it to people when I go, are you mad at me? And I mean it in the like silliest way of it. But she goes, what, why?
Like, what have you done?
She got really nervous. She's like, did I miss something? Did I miss a text message? And I was like, no, I don't know.
You can't do that.
I'm like 95% kidding. And it's really just my way of checking in and being like, hey, are you good?
You mad?
Are you good? Are we good? Is everything fine? And I did it because when I sent that yesterday, I didn't see you like it. And I thought, this is how my brain interpreted it. Welp, that's all. That sounds good to me. Or, welp, I think you covered everything, Kate. And I was like, are you mad at me?
Can't do that.
But I can't
was
do that
this in the
Rachel.
group chat?
Yeah. When I sent the thing?
Yeah.
And she was like,
When I
No,
read,
she
are you
texted me
mad?
individually.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I was like,
Because
oh,
I was
no.
like, I didn't even get that at all.
No, I sent it to her individually.
Yeah, which is why I was like, oh no, we're having a private conversation.
I whispered. Yeah. No, I need to stop doing it. I got it. This guy I used to work with, all the time, we would say it to each other. Like, are you mad at me? In like a silly way.
Yeah. If it's a pre-established inside joke, it's fine.
But just to strangers, I'll do it to my clients. Are you mad at me?
No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I'm going to start doing that at work and see how it goes.
Yeah. You should start doing it to your boss for sure.
I'm going
hey,
to.
are you?
I'm going to
sorry.
first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Because it's such a vulnerable thing to ask somebody, and then they immediately feel like, wait, should I be?
He'd probably be like,
you?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Rachel's like, did I say or do something? And no, you didn't.
I might accidentally find out something I don't want to know.
Yeah.
In
it could
life?
be like, oh, how did you guess?
Oh, right. You're like opening up a way for them to talk.
Just like last time, sit there shell-shocked while Kate and I are vehemently defending our positions.
So I've been actually thinking about that a lot more too. And I don't think that I am good at knowing how to disagree with somebody. Because
not many people
I think you are.
I think you did really well. I felt like
I did not feel like that on the inside, but also I was emotionally dysregulated.
Right.
So that was a big thing for
Yeah.
me. On the inside, I felt like I wasn't able to remain unfazed by disagreement. But I also think a lot of that is because I've grown up a very competent people pleaser, as well as I'm a girl's girl. Mm-hmm. And women connect versus like men who have discord way more. You know, they grow up rubbing each other, not rubbing. That's not the word I meant.
Some men grow up rubbing each other, but not all of them.
Like ribbing.
Yeah, ribbing.
Ribbing.
Yes.
I said
Okay.
rubbing though.
Yes.
I like that one better.
Wait, but I was like, I need to learn how to be better at that. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also let's just take a mental health note.
Okay.
Because we all value mental health.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have to take medicine, you should always take it. And don't let your executive
For sure.
function, your executive dysfunction get in the way of emotional regulation.
I love it.
Yeah.
So,
If you can't make your own neurotransmitters, store-bought is fine.
yes.
But you have to make sure
you have to take it.
keep them in
Right.
stock. Yes.
So, yes. Okay, great. Yeah, and I think a great place to start transitioning into our wrap-up from last week is, Rachel, what did you think of this book?
Well, first, hi, I'm Rachel.
I'm Kate.
And I'm Hannah.
And this is the Strange and Beautiful Book Club. then I don't have to put the music at the very beginning.
Yeah, which I
do.
actually kind of like. I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah, I just like to have a place for it.
Yeah.
So now we've got, yes, this was a much better book.
This was okay.
Yes.
I knew you were gonna love it, and let me tell you how I knew. Well, I didn't know for sure, but as I was listening and re-listening to this, every single chapter, I was looking like, is this chapter important? Do I like what's happening in this chapter? Do I think this chapter is necessary? Almost every time, it is a yes.
Yeah.
And she really catches her vibe with the different directions and how much bigger it gets.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And she's covering not as much as you think, but because she's covering so many different things, it all feels like it's moving.
Right.
So
Always.
we're in 3 places this time. We're in Rifthold with Dorian and Kael. We're with Manon and the witches.
Mm-hmm.
And we're with...
In the Farian Gap.
Yeah.
Yes.
And at Mistward with Rowan and
Durinell.
Yeah.
Doranel.
With Maeve.
Yeah.
Right. And the moving around is nice.
I
Yeah.
like it.
It makes the mystery and like you're constantly craving going back to these other different characters. And I think something that you mentioned maybe in the text is that she's really figured out Aelin
yes.
at this time.
Yeah, Aelin's not the same character in this book that she was in the last 2 books.
Right. True.
And that's a good thing.
Right. And I think she's taken maybe some of the criticisms that she got about that character in those first 2 books. And she's kind of said, well, this is really who she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And she's written that person. And I think there's some more nuance and consistencies in what it looks like for her to have gone through all the trauma and then be there.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot, each time you've mentioned she's not done the assassin thing, like we haven't seen the assassin thing, there's an entire book that you're supposed to kind of read before these that is all assassin.
Yeah.
So we've chosen to read Assassin's Blade after this one, but as I was reading this book and I saw how often that book is referenced, I was like, oh, this would feel really different.
Same.
If you had read Assassin's Blade first, because all of those characters are showing up in different ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that might have allowed you to feel like you had already had this understanding of her assassin adventures and who she is in that respect. And so Sarah might have missed that.
Yeah.
Because she had expected her reader to have already gone through that.
Yeah. Also, from my perspective, this is the part that Sarah J. Maas wanted to write.
Right.
She needed to get us here. So she wrote 2 books to get us here, but she didn't want us to feel like she didn't want to go 2 like short stories and then get here. So she needed to pad the first 2 books, and that's what she did.
Right.
And so that's why the first 2 books feel padded. But when we get here, this is where she wanted to be. She wanted Aelin with Rowan. She wants Aelin doing her thing, learning her magic, getting on the path to finally taking responsibility for
Addressing her
herself.
trauma.
Yeah. And so she needed the first 2 books and she wrote them, but this is what she wanted to write. And so I think that's why as soon as we hit it, it all flows so much better because she's much more excited to write
And
this.
each book after this is much more like this book than the previous 2. I don't know if we're supposed to. Yeah, we can say that because we're not spoiling anything. But the tone of it and the pacing of it and the direction that the characters take. We did get a lot of new characters in this book. This is the first time that we just are introduced to this other character that we're just supposed to know. Or like we're just supposed to connect with immediately. And that's Manon.
And
Yeah.
why do we connect immediately? Because I was thinking like we meet Manon and she's ripping hearts out. But we love it.
I love how you were like, I'm going to let Rachel take this.
Well, I was going to say my first read through, I did not read the Manon chapters like intently.
Really?
No, I was like, why is she here? I don't know who she is. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So I kind of skipped through them. But then after reading in the reread for me, the Manon chapters are like special and magical for me.
It
See,
felt
I
like
was
a nice.
immediately hooked on her.
It felt like a nice break when we got to her because every other character
Was so
is
different.
struggling with something, and Manon's like, I know exactly who
Yeah.
I am, and I know exactly what I want to do, which is kill these people,
Which is brutal.
and that will change. But when we first meet her, she's the
She
surest
thinks
character.
she has the most. She's the
Okay,
most
yeah.
self-assured, but we very quickly see that this
a struggle.
tiny dragon that she almost immediately loves and just doesn't even have the language to understand the bond is going to open up an entire different set of emotions for her. And so being able to, she's so tough
yeah,
and she's so bad.
So do you think we can credit Abraxos for like everything that happens with her after that? Like her second guessing her grandmother and all the inward struggles she has, like with her second and her third and the shuffling around, and because it's almost like he brings something out of her
Yeah, well,
that was not there before.
I definitely think that, and we touched a little bit about this in our text, but I definitely think that there is somewhat of a soulmate bond happening. We've seen mating bonds. She even talks about it. She calls it the ebb and the flow, or she references it to their religion
Fate.
or their spirituality, the three-faced goddess, the three-faced mother. She says this is the loom of the three-faced mother is like pulling them together.
That's true.
And that they're having this like simultaneous connection.
yeah,
So I also think that the way that Manon is a leader and the loyalty, I don't think they use the same language, but they're doing the same thing. Where they're so loyal and they're so like savagely committed to each other that they're like there's an intensity of love within that 13 women
For sure.
Yeah.
and they're just not using they're not calling it that.
They're
Yeah.
not calling it love, but
No,
yeah.
and they're born, what was it, soulless and obedient and
Heartless.
till the darkness takes them or something like that.
yeah. And it could also just be that, I mean, Manon wasn't born when they had a country. So she's never been in a situation where she's living in close proximity with all these other witches for this length of time. And so even her grandmother, she knows her grandmother, she's lived with her grandmother, but she's on her own out hunting Kraken witches all the time. So it's basically like you've been out doing your own thing and now you're getting super micromanaged and it's making you question everything that you're doing.
Well, and also, yeah, I mean, the way they describe it is they're born without sympathy, mercy, or kindness. That is
Yeah.
literally their entire thing. And then at the end, this Kraken witch who she murders
Yeah.
says, "We've been laughing at you, and we feel sorry for
Yeah,
you
pitying
because you create yourselves to be this violent and like belligerently, like masochistic type
Yeah.
coven
And you don't
group.
have to be like that.
You don't have to be like that. You have no love in your life. You are just brutally mean to each other and organized and somewhat like they're like the empire.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they love that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
they
they live
think they love
forever.
it.
And this
They
is the
think
first
they
time
love it.
They think
yeah,
they love
and
it.
this is the first time they're not going to live forever, or they're all starting to age a little bit. They've been not immortal for 10 years,
Yeah.
which is why those teeth are rusty, gross.
So do we think like the rust on the teeth is from the no magic?
That would be my expectation.
Yeah,
It's gotta
I mean,
be.
that's
Yeah.
reasonable, but it's just gross.
What about the eyelid? That is
It's convenient.
that they have a
so-
second eyelid
Yeah.
for flying?
It's convenient
creeps
considering
me
they
out.
personally cannot fly. I
Well,
would expect that from a creature that can fly themselves.
But they
They
But
were
with the
born on the back
brooms-
of the wind. Like they're made to fly.
their magic with magic they do fly.
yeah. On
with
brooms.
a broom,
Yeah.
They're
with a
fated
Nimbus
to fly.
2000. But
Made of
Fly a bolt.
ironwood. And Sarah J. Maas loves ironwood. It shows up in A Court of Thorns and Roses, too.
yeah, iron is anytime. I think iron's in Crescent City too.
Well, ironwood
Yeah.
specifically.
Is that a type of wood?
Well, Manon mentions that her broom was made of ironwood. And Feyre's bed, the bed that all three sisters slept in, she makes a point of mentioning that it was carved from ironwood for them to be in.
Yeah.
I was curious if
I don't know if that's a real wood or not. I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know ashes, and the ash is always in everything. Yes. But in our next hour, I'm going to talk a little bit about the three-faced mother and the three sisters, but that's fine. We'll move forward. But one of my favorite part of this book, I think, is the witches and the introduction to the witches.
Yeah.
I just think that they just brought the story. The story needed it.
Yeah, it does the same thing for us that introducing the monsters in A Court of Thorns and Roses did.
Right.
Where it deepens our mythology. It gives us a bigger world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're rooting for more people, and they're not, her bad guys are always evil. Well, Manon, we don't really know. We know that the king of Otterland has hired them, that they're working for him.
Right.
So in essence, we know that they're going to be on an opposing side of
they're
Aelin.
bad guys.
But we immediately like Manon. And what Abraxas does is for us is he's our puppy.
Yeah.
He's our dog. He's our pet. He is our
Save the
life
cat.
force. And I actually picture him like Toothless from...
Same.
Yeah, I picture him as that sweet...
I've said that from day one.
Well, it's effectively the same thing.
Yeah, and in How to Train Your Dragon, they talk
So
about how they
cute.
use cats
Yeah.
to mimic and figure out their movement and stuff. And then she also describes these little wyverns as kind of
Cats.
cat-like.
Yeah.
And I think I think one of the most touching scenes, and I don't know, did anyone else tear up at any part in this book? Anybody have tears?
Yeah.
No, but you can't go off of that.
No, I know. I know. I
Yeah.
can though, because if you're supposed to cry at a part, I probably will.
To me, what was hardest was, and it could have just been, I don't know why. I don't know why I cry at certain things at certain times of the month, but this was that one. When Aelin sees her parents dead in the bed, and, towards the beginning of the book, I think, when she's training with Rowan and she, has that whole reliving her trauma
in
thing.
that first attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's throwing up and peeing her pants and to me, I was like,
I'm not laughing at that.
God, this girl is just going through it. So I don't know. It may have just been the time of the month, but I did cry on that part. But go ahead and tell us your part that you cried on.
Well, I just want to stop for a second because you can't see Rachel, but we have talked so often about how
Pee-pee pants?
Yeah.
Sarah J. Maas
She
loves
loves the good shit yourself. She really does.
Soil-
and throw up.
soil
vomiting
yourself,
your guts up.
pee your pants.
Yeah.
Your pants.
She's a very physical, physically responsive. The only part in this book that I cry, but now that I understand when Petra and Keely, and I went back and listened to Petra, the blue blood heir, right? She kind of knew the whole time that dragon or wyverns, that there was this connection, that there was this powerful connection when she gave, when Keely wanted Abraxas to have the goat meat, even when she chose her dragon, she stood up and she said, that lady dragon right there, that's mine. That wyvern, sorry. The wyvern is mine.
Yeah.
She had already had this connection. And that, that's the sect that's really spiritual.
They're playing a different game from everybody else.
I think so too, for sure. I mean, they're so much more connected to energy and they're the fortune teller ones.
Right.
Yeah. So that part for me, I am with my dog. It just, And Abraxas not wanting to, he's like, I'm not playing your war game right now because I see this dragon and like his leadership ability just as to see this dragon in distress. And he's like, you know, she's trying to get him to get that egg. And he's like, no, I'm here. This is what we're doing. And he leads that charge.
Yeah.
I mean, she leans in, but he's the one that figures out how they're going to save Petra. And they know, and like, the description, I'm getting goosebumps. The description of like Keely understanding that she is trying to save her rider. I mean, that kind of thing for me, that like is it?
Yeah. Heroicism.
Heroics.
Yeah.
Heroicism.
Or heroics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heroics. Like when something loves something so much, it knows it has to die for the other to live.
Yeah.
It gets me every time.
Oh, Lord.
So
That was a good part.
I had to pause
Yeah.
that. I was on my way to show a house this morning and had to stop it and listen to another podcast. I listen to our podcast. Before I met my
For
client.
a good laugh.
Yeah, because specific parts of last week's. But I had to stop because I didn't want to be crying when I met this new client.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then
sorry, one of
then
my
how do
fictional
you-
characters died.
How do you explain that, you know?
I mean, yeah, how do you? I
Yeah.
cry in books all the time.
Yeah.
So, and then as soon as I was done showing houses, I put that chapter 62 on and I listened through it and I had my lovely Sunday morning
I
cry.
love a good Sunday morning cry.
It's like church.
Yes.
Oh, good. Sarah J. Maas Church.
Yes.
So, what did you think of Manon as a character?
I think that was good.
Did you like the way she was written?
Yeah, it was nice to meet a character that started in a different place. So she started extremely sure of herself instead of all the rest of our characters who always start broken and we're putting ourselves back together. She doesn't even know she's broken.
Right.
And she has to figure that out. And then she has to figure out, well, how do I want to put the pieces back together? Which I assume we're going to get in the next book because at this point they're flying off to go like do what the king tells them to do.
Right.
Which probably won't end up being exactly what they want it to be.
Right.
So, because knowing the king at this point, well, at the end of last book, I really didn't believe he was capable of anything. But then when we started this book, everything had changed.
Right.
Well, she's writing the A Court of Thorns and Roses books concurrently with these. I looked up the dates. So by this time, she's writing both
Yep.
series. So she's got a lot of writing that she's doing right now, which is probably why she's like, okay, I got this. I'm doing it. Like, I'm locked in on my like story skills now. Because by the end, when the king finally pulls his like, I knew what was going on all along, and I've just been waiting for you guys to shoot your own selves in the foot. I was like, oh, okay, this is what I wanted at the end of last book and didn't get. So thank you so much for. It's horrific, but at least we're like he's a believable bad character now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
And on that's a great transition. Something I wanted to bring to the forefront really quickly is that something that grated your nerves to no end in the last book, which is where Selena plays dumb. She is inquisitive and smart, and Nancy
She's
Drew.
an entirely different.
She's
character.
a Nancy Drew in
Yes.
this book. Like
Yes.
if she's and I wanted to say if she's interested in something, she will go out of her way to make sure that she is the most knowledgeable character. There's actually I think it was I even wrote down the chapter. It's when she's like grilling Rowan. She's
Yeah.
always grilling him. What is this? What was it? Why would it? Why? You even get her inner monologue is thinking and rehashing and like trying to hash out stuff. We get the first time, which will be stuff happens off page. Right?
Yeah.
She'll figure something out off page and then she presents it to us at another point.
Yeah.
And we get that for the first time in this book when she goes to see Maeve.
Yes.
And she's already had this plan on how she's going to get Rowan.
Yeah.
And we'll see that a lot. And so she really figures out, I like it when my main characters know more than everyone else and I'm not even going to let my reader in on it.
Well, she didn't need her to be dumb in this book. She didn't need her to spin her wheels on anything because we didn't need to pad it. We didn't need to stretch anything out because she was giving us so much happening. We were going to have a full book no matter what.
Right.
Just from because if you look at each individual character, what they accomplish, it's very small. Like Selena Aylin trains with Rowan, figures out what's happening with the soldiers that are getting snuck into the country, and then defends the fortress and sees Maeve and
Yep.
rescues Rowan, and that's it. Like that's all she does. It's like training,
Like,
defending,
plot-wise.
plot-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she didn't need her to play dumb. She didn't need her to not figure things out because she had other stuff happening. Anytime Selena came to a point where she was like, okay, can't go any further or we'll be moving the plot into the next like chunk.
Right.
So I'll just switch. I'll do a short little Kale chapter here. I'll do a
Yeah.
whatever, which is why dividing the party worked so much better in this.
For sure. And it was like, I mean, I was reading it and I was like, yeah, this is Aelin being really, or this is Selena being really smart right now because one thing happens and then all of a sudden she's like putting together
Yeah.
10 different things that she's seen happen before. She sees the collar, the black collar, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, it's the fingernail. She gets the blood out of her fingernail and she smells it. And then all of a sudden she's back to her parents dying.
Yeah.
She's back to the castle. She's back to the tower. She's at the king. She's realizing she puts all the pieces together because
Yeah.
she cleaned out underneath her nail. And I was like, that's what Rachel wants.
Yes. Yes, it is. I didn't want her to be like, ew, my nails are dirty. And then come back to it 4 chapters
What's that?
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we have another name for Selena in this one,
Yeah.
which is, I think, kind of cool because, nameless.
Yeah.
She's my
For someone
prize.
who's nameless, she's got a lot of names. She's
What do they
Fireheart.
call her in this one? Alentia?
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's what
That's
Nehemia gave her that
Nehemia's name
Yeah.
for her. So she uses that
And Fireheart.
with some people.
Yeah, and then Fireheart.
So we're still calling her.
And narration wise, we're calling her Selena through the whole book.
Yeah.
We don't even get that until
Really?
I was really
Yeah,
paying attention
'cause it's
to
only
that.
Rowan that really calls her
Aelin.
Aelin.
It's not till the very end when she meets little Aelin and she ends up like accepting herself literally.
And then
Yes.
even after that, when she goes
Think
to
I cried
Maeve,
at
yeah, that's a really sweet spot too. I
Yeah.
I had some
Yeah.
tightness. I go.
some
Wait, how would
watery-
she
I had a
describe
little
it?
pressure.
I had a little pressure. Yeah, my eyes got tight. Even though when she goes to Maeve, which is after that, she is still referencing, the narrator is still referencing Aelin as Selena. And I think what's meant to be, because I kept waiting for the shift. I'm like,
Yeah.
what is it, a part 2? Is because at some point, the story is no longer ever talking about Selena.
Yeah.
And I think it's at the way this book ends with her saying, I am Aelin Galathinius.
Yeah.
I think in our next book, well,
She's
2
just-
books from now,
Right.
Queen of Shadows, or is that what it's called?
I think so.
Maybe Queen of Shadows. I think it's gonna be our girl,
all Aelin all the way.
Aelin. Yeah.
I like how quickly she put together where the last word key was.
Yes, that's
In
it.
the
I'm
in
like,
the previous book, she got the poem, which was literally just like, there's a word key
Wait,
in the mountains,
so-
there's a word key over there, there's a word key here. And she's like, I don't understand.
I know.
And then this one, she was like, the necklace that I had when I was little, the necklace that was inherited by my father who was king of this castle.
Yeah, I know. And I was laughing. I was literally giggling because I was like, I wrote it down. Look, Amulet of Orin. I literally was like, see, Rachel, she's smart.
Gets it.
In this book.
In
yes.
this book, she's
Yeah.
very smart. And she does. She puts it together. And it's not annoying. You're right. It's
Yeah.
really nice when it's all of a sudden like our main characters are able to deduce the facts we need to
Yeah.
move forward versus having a Baba Yellowlegs or who's an exposition queen in this one. I feel like there was another character that every time we heard from them, we got something good. Maybe the grandmother. I don't know. But yeah.
Maybe Emerus, the guy that she
Yes,
talked to in the
Emerson.
kitchen.
And I love them.
Yeah.
Malachi and Luca.
Uh-huh.
Sweet
Hey,
babies.
and we get a same-sex mated couple in
yeah.
this.
Oh, I know. I wanted to ask if you noticed that.
Yeah, except it could be different in this world.
Maybe.
in the other world,
It's a different universe.
Yeah, it could be a different reason.
Yeah,
they made
and
it.
I did. Well, and that's why I think it's a plot hole. I mean, it just doesn't make sense why she would have made that shift. I mean, I guess so. It's a different universe.
It's a different universe. Fate
Yeah.
works differently.
Yep. Well, yeah. maybe the magic, and maybe we do at some point get some sort of breakdown of like who builds the anyways, I don't know.
Maybe when the universes cross over.
Yeah, I'm hoping that
No.
some of the magic shifts other people's powers as they cross, you know? Like Aelin in the magic without...
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Nice.
wow, that was
That
really
was a
dramatic.
Gong.
That was literal gong.
Nice.
It reverbed for a minute.
I just stopped feeling that in my heart.
Sorry. Don't speak with your hands. Wait, what?
What?
What were we talking about?
Universes?
The magic's mingling and reaching equilibrium. Like maybe they'll all change to be more like each other.
Yeah. Right. Well, and then we know that there's realms where they work, where they don't work.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah. We got a lot of new characters in this book.
yeah. And I think,
Rowan.
okay, yeah, you loved Rowan. Let's
I
hear it.
did.
What do you like
Prince
about
Rowan.
Because Rowan was saying everything to Selena that I wanted to say.
He was a mean
I
person.
highlighted half of his lines when he's like, "You are a coward and you are an idiot and your people are dying and you are sitting around eating chocolate cake and fucking with people instead of going and doing
You're
what
a
you need
waste
to do to
of
save
time.
them."
You're a waste
And I
of
was like,
space. You're a waste.
Thank you, Rowan.
It's so rough.
Thank you. I didn't need her to go off and do it. I just needed someone to point out to her that she wasn't doing it and that she was being
Also-
all sad and upset in her castle where her every need was taken care of and she had access to candy and cookies and cake at every second of the day. I love it when she goes to the fortress and she's like, "There's no bath in my room."
Yeah.
She just has a pitcher and she's like, "But it's all cold and I have a cot." And
She's a little bit spoiledy.
she mentions that. She says, "I've gotten spoiled." And so that's why I liked Rowan, because he's at the very beginning when I was still really angry at Selena, because she's still that.
He punches her in the face.
The physical violence wasn't my favorite part,
Yeah,
but
I guess
they like
we should have
yelling
had
at
more
people.
time in Dovier, so we could have gotten more, like, it ground into our head that she had just spent a year being slashed and beaten
Yeah.
and working in a salt mine. Because she comes out of the most horrendous, where people don't live more than 3 months, and immediately bounces back and almost, like, overcompensates by being this punky, plucky little kid. And that doesn't, the lack of us getting the insight we needed to recognize how much damage that did, it really did make her seem like an annoying little kid.
Yeah.
When in actuality, she was just really trying to face this weird stuff, right?
Yeah.
So,
Which you can retroactively apply to her.
Right.
Now that you're like, okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And I love
And
how.
that's what Rowan does.
Yeah,
He's
and
mean as shit to her.
Yeah.
He's a bully. I actually sent, Hannah, check out your TikTok. I sent you like 12 different things.
Oh my God.
Because I just wanted to easily access them. And one of them is, have you seen that trend? You might have created this trend.
She probably did.
She probably did. Where they put like funny inspirational quotes that aren't really inspirational quotes to like music, and it's like all the shit that Rowan said to Aelin.
Perfect.
Like he's like, he even tells her, "Do you need a lashing?" And then he sees her bite back with, "I will kill you if you touch me."
Which he apologizes for later.
Yeah.
Because he's like, "I didn't know.
And
You didn't tell me. Nobody told me."
Yeah, and as soon as he realizes that she's not this spoiled little brat, but is actually had this lifetime of intense violence, he's like, "Oh, okay." And she really matures a lot from 18 to 19.
And I like the slow buildup of friendship between Rowan and Aelin. Because often with Sarah J. Maas, we'll be really angry at each other. And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know, he's really hot when he yells at me
or
like
is that
that.
sexual tension?
Well, and they hate each other. And yeah, they have an intense hate of each other. I mean, they are, like he says, mirrors of each other. They're both grieving this incredible loss. She's finally dealing with it. It's like she was go, 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 go. And now all of a sudden she's like, I'm going to drink and gamble and fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to punish myself. I'm going to punish myself.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to get drunk and stare at this hawk in the tree.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it.
Yeah.
Weird that hawk keeps showing up. Stupid hawk.
Silly
Why
old
this fucking
bird.
bird following me around?
Must be waiting for me to die.
Same one that's outside the window listening to the stories.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. But, yeah. Rowan was, I think, sorry, pause. I forget. It'll take it out. It'll take it out. I think this character, this relationship is really well done.
Me
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
And the payoff and where it goes and like the slow burn for it is, it's really great. And she doesn't need another boyfriend.
No.
She needs this person that's a protector because she's always protecting and she's failed. And so for her to
Karanon.
yeah, that's not the only place that I've heard that. Have you seen that in other books?
No.
They use it in Shadowhunters.
Really?
And it means soulmate.
Huh.
But
Well, in this reference, it's more like power mate. Like my power speaks to your power.
right. And it's incredibly rare.
Yeah.
I love that he just like we mention it once.
Yeah.
And then
And he's like, well,
he's like,
this is probably going to be fine.
and he has it's gonna be he's like, here's what happens. It either works or you die together.
You die.
You both burn out and die together. It's
Yeah.
gonna it's gonna be fine.
It's going to be fine. It's like, well, you're going to die anyway. So
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot my shot here. Yeah.
Everyone dies one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was really I forgot about that part. That he just comes in and he's like, yeah, we're Karenons now.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
I love the part where she's like, I claim you as my friend.
Yeah.
Let's be best friends.
Right, because he's so
Yeah.
resistant to even being kind to each other.
Yeah.
And I love the part where when watching Rowan soften and watching Rowan finally like that record stop where he sees how beat up she is and
Yes.
is like, what? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
What? You're not a princess that eats chocolate cake all the time? And it's just a brat? And like watching him become protective. And then there's these moments where it's like she got really, really protective. Like Faye protective, jealous of another character. And you're like, that's not
That's not what
friends-
start, but
Yeah.
they
That's not
blame
what-
it on the Karanon.
right. And that's not what friends. That's not a friend thing, though.
No. She's just like, "Ugh,
I'm not
I'm
like-
becoming too Faye. That's what she
Yeah.
says. She's
Yeah.
like,
And
I've
then-
been spending too much
just-
time.
And then
Yeah.
Rowan does it too. And I love that they bring in the scent thing that sometimes scents can just trigger a response from like a female.
That's
Yeah.
true
Or-
for me in my everyday life. So.
Scents are triggering.
You guys like my plague scentsy idea?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got to do it. Patent.
Plague scented.
I don't care if there's a plague scentsy in there. You know what a scentsy is?
Yes, I know what a
Okay.
scentsy
Of course
is.
you do. You guys are moms.
Yeah.
I feel
People they're like, do you want to be part of my multi-level marketing scheme? No, thanks. I already have a podcast. I'm already not making money for too much work.
All right, I'll buy one if you leave me alone for 1 year.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's why people buy that stuff. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I will buy
I don't care what
one
anyone
paper
says.
chef item, 1 cent.
You got to get the ice cream scoop that heats up with your hand.
But whoop, whoop, whoop.
Sorry.
Back
Didn't
to
mean
the
to tangent. Yeah.
leggings.
Yeah.
We were on like face tattoos.
Oh, face tattoo. That's a great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's straight up face tattooed.
Yeah.
Like straight up all the way down his body.
Yeah.
He's almost like a Malfoy. He's like a Draco looking tall. He's 6'4", y'all.
I'm into it.
Of course he is.
Yep. 6'4", massively triangle shaped. Face tattoo with language. This beautiful spoken elven.
That I'm
they're
sure
not
goes all
elves,
the
they're-
way down his body.
Oh, all the way down his body. And at no point is she like, that's a sexy motherfucker. Until
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
At first but I think that if you ever meet someone in real life that you, I don't know if this has happened for you, but a man that you instantly cannot stand, that normally says something.
Yeah.
It's normally, I don't know, I find that those tend to be the men that I end up dating. It's fine.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
I fucking hate you. And then that shit turns around.
So you identify strongly with this. Yeah.
Well, not that
teasing.
I'm healed enough to where I prefer kindness and
Yeah.
like, right.
Yeah.
But
He's kind eventually. He's kind when he respects her.
I know. And
after he sees her scars.
but I love how she builds in all of these things that when their relationship
I love their
goes a diff-
friendship. I
yeah.
just love it.
Mhm.
Their talks and their, even before.
I know that part where she's like, I just really like talking and communicating with him. I was like, who the fuck is this?
I know, exactly. You're like,
Just like being open and honest with him and asking him all kinds of questions about his life and hearing about all his stories.
I was like, oh, this is the Aelin they wanted me to meet for the last 2 books.
It is.
Yes.
She really does figure it out.
Yeah.
And so now when you carry this person with your heart, it's hard for people to say not nice things about her.
Once you've gone down this long road with
but
somebody.
this is again a different character.
That's true.
She's different.
she's fully formed.
Yeah.
And
She's figuring things. She's
Sarah
gone
has
through to
caught
the other
her
side.
vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And she
Yeah.
still has a lot to learn.
she's also is Court of Thorns and Roses out by the time this book comes out?
Yeah, I think so.
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I would say Mist and Fury is where that book starts. And
Yes.
this book starts here. And
Yeah.
that is a synonymous opinion throughout the fandom,
Yeah.
throughout the army of Maas fans.
Yep.
That is the idea.
Yeah, I would say that. You need the first 2 books because you need to know why she's here. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of plot
Yeah.
that we need to carry over.
I'll say a thing that not annoys, that's the wrong term. I'm just like, is this, and this happens with Aelin a lot, which is why I'm glad she brings in other strong females. Everybody gets really Aelin centric. So, and we see that with Chaol and Aedion. And I love that they get to spend so much time together because it's,
Yes.
Chaol knows her now.
Yeah.
He knows Selena Sardothian. And Aedion knows 8-year-old,
Aelin.
she was going to be queen. She's half Fae. She's Fae.
And they're bonded.
Chaol and Aedion.
Aedion and Aelin.
Well, they're like brother and sister.
Well, they mentioned that there's actually
he hasn't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
He
The
is,
blood oath.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is supposed to be her number one Queen's Guard protector.
It helped me a lot with Chaol and Aedion and to a certain extent Dorian when I reframed a lot of what they were talking about with honor culture.
Sure.
So I watch a lot of K-dramas and it's a huge honor culture.
Yeah.
And so Chaol is the classic, what's it called? I wrote it in the book. Noble idiot. He's the classic honor culture noble idiot.
Right.
I will take all of this on. I will tell you none of it because I don't want you to have to suffer. I will suffer for you. And if
Sure.
I even tell you about it, you might suffer knowing that I'm doing this for you. So don't worry. I'll just take care of it.
And that's another way of saying stubborn to the point of stupidity.
Right.
In a really positive light. You need that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that helped me a lot.
And Chaol
for this
gets
section.
a lot smarter in this book too.
Yeah.
Everybody gets way smarter.
Yeah, because they're all figuring it out.
Yeah.
And Sarah J. Maas is figuring them out. And she didn't need them to be dumb because we needed it moving.
Right.
And so we finally hit the ground running and we do.
And I think she did a thing that, you can tell when she's not doing, where she's like, this is my plan for the series.
Yeah.
And so she had to go, and this is how we're going to get there. And I think this book is really efficient.
It is.
Even though, you know what I mean? I'm specifically looking for places where it's lulling, and there weren't. I like every moment of it. I was like, oh, delicious. I'll listen again. Morsel, morsel, morsel. I can't listen to it while I'm going to sleep because I don't want to fall asleep and not hear it. Right.
Yeah.
And, but I love the Aedion and Chaol dynamic. I think they're both great characters. Seeing Aedion be his entire life purpose from being born was I'm going to be the person that is her right-hand man. I am the hand of the queen.
Yeah.
I will protect her. I will never leave her side. Like, that was his whole life's purpose. And then we get that, he's half Fae, and he's incredibly talented and smart and skilled, and he has been loyal to no end. And I love that she mentions the reason why we've never heard of him before is because she kept coming across all these stories of him working for the king.
Yeah.
So she just forgot and compartmentalized and pushed him away.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's another man whore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She loves
Ireland's
that.
whore.
Yeah. She likes the
So ding ding ding.
Amarantha's whore.
Yeah, she never calls
Arden's
women
whore.
whores.
She
She'll
loves a man
only
whore.
call a man a whore.
Yeah.
And men that are whores in her universes are men that are just simping for...
They're usually
king
like
or-
really smart.
And usually
they're-
misunderstood. It's
Yeah,
like you're
they're in it
posing
for the
as.
long
never,
game.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
never... Yeah.
Yeah, the character who actually does the least in this book is Adian, because he's really just there to bring Kale up to speed.
Yep.
It's fine. It works just great because it gives Kale the development that he needs, and it introduces us to Adian, because we've spent 2 books with Kale,
Yeah.
and Adian just showed up.
And it also allows us to get another scope and view of Aelin.
Yeah.
And that is...
We actually get some Kale and Dorian, which...
Yeah, and their relationship is kind of tense too right now.
because of the noble idiot trope, which
Yeah.
is what Kale is doing, which is, I don't care if you don't like me anymore because I'm doing this because I love you.
And I know better.
And I know better.
And I know better, and I have to protect you because what's really happened is because he was in love with Selena, his loyalties have switched.
Yeah.
And that happens. You fall in love with someone, they open your eyes. He's no longer blindsided to how evil the king is. He knows there's evil creatures running around. Everybody's got one of these black rings, and he's trying to put the puzzle pieces together. Thank
And they
God.
do. Yeah.
And they do.
And they do.
Yeah.
They figure out, okay, so I love how they go with the birds. They're like, well, a wave of birds came from this direction, and a wave of
I had to
birds
listen
came
to
from
that
that
like 3 times.
direction.
Yeah.
And Kale's like, why the fuck are we talking about birds?
And he's like, because I'm a trained hunter and I know what birds sound like from Endovier.
Yeah.
Part literally made me laugh out loud. I was just thinking.
Yeah.
about
He's like, the only thing I had in my tower where they kept me were the birds.
And-
okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and all of a sudden I saw birds from this region, and then I saw birds from that region, and that's how I know that like there were waves and whatever.
And we didn't lose magic immediately. We lost it on this day. And I
Yeah.
thought that was really cool. That's like some Sherlock Holmes shit.
Yeah.
Like your special set of bird skills allowed us to put together that there's 3 towers in a perfect triangle 500 miles away from each other.
Yeah, perfectly whatever. And
Right.
but the only part that makes 0 sense is when he tests it with Thorian, and he just puts the crystals, and then he puts the bowl, and he like directs magic between the crystals, and then the bowl freezes, and he's like, oh, okay, that's exactly how it happened. And you're
I
like,
did not understand.
you're like, what? How does that? That doesn't make any sense. Why would the bowl freeze? And he's like, completely proves my point. Thank you. You're like, what?
I'm really glad that you said that because
the crystals in the bowl. I was like,
I was so confused.
That's fine. It doesn't make sense.
Okay, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to.
It doesn't have
but
to.
I really
It
did
didn't
listen to
ca-
it a couple times.
Even Dorian is like,
and, what the hell are you talking about,
he's
man?
like, what did I just do? And he's like, whatever. And he just knocks the,
Yeah.
knocks the crystal over.
I got 12
it's like
crystals.
they're trying.
it's
Okay,
fine. I got
they're
12 at
trying to
Market.
figure it out. What about Sorsha?
Oh, I love
Aw,
her.
We finally meet
Sweet.
some NPCs. I love that we finally talked about, because they're always like, and then a healer came and fixed me. And I'm like, well, didn't the healer know that you were like,
NPCs.
like the healer showed up and you had like sword wounds and they fixed you up, and they absolutely didn't go back and be like, oh my God, you guys, Selena got cut by
Guys, I'm
something.
not gonna
guys are
believe
not
what I
gonna
just saw.
believe-
That dog had a bite like a shark on
Yeah.
it.
So
That dog had some shark bites.
No,
So
she
we-
sure did, and she kept that to herself.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. And I, seeing the hints all along, I mean, they totally there. You're like,
Yeah.
Sorsha. That's
Again,
okay.
the only part of this that doesn't make a ton of sense is Sorsha is a trained spy, but she throws her handwritten spy instructions in her trash can. She's just like,
Well, she thinks they're coded. So she thinks, I don't know what she's thinking.
It's fine.
I'll tell you what she was
happened.
thinking. She was
"Hey, Dorian."
distracted by Dorian.
Yeah.
Who is
She's
sexy as
really,
he's a sexy man.
Yeah.
And she's just
He
been
is
crushing.
also kind and caring and a brilliant leader.
He doesn't
and
punch me in the face
rightful
when I hurt
king
him with
of
my ointment.
With sapphire eyes. And,
sapphire eyes and big broody muscles. And honestly, what we learn about him in future books about his sexual preferences make him even hotter.
Yeah.
He's got 4 arms, 2 of them magic. No big deal.
He
Oh
likes a
shit!
little-
Put that in the next one.
I don't
like
think that's a
some
spoiler.
bondage.
Yeah.
That's like a teaser. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Oh,
wait
yeah.
for
Oh.
it. 4
Yeah.
arms, my friend. Potentially more. Yeah. I love that story. It's really sweet, and it's really important for, like I said, the ongoing our themes, the Sarah
Yeah.
J. Maas universe. It's all about love and how love awakens us, how love motivates us, how love changes us.
Yeah.
And the loss and grief and friendship and groups and community. I love that. That's my favorite. I think that's why I love the 13 so much. But
The 13 was such a unique choice because that's a lot of names and characters to juggle.
and you don't have to really know them all.
She only named some of them.
Well, we'll learn all of them. And I was gonna write down all of them, but I was like, it's too soon. It's too soon for that.
Okay.
But we get a little over the next few books. We get a glimpse at the 13, and it's just they're an incredible they're strategists.
yeah.
And they're unbeatable. They're just and they're just so happy to have their flying puppies that they love. And they're all so good to each other. And they love each other so much, but they have to pretend they don't.
Right.
They have to call
Yeah.
it loyalty and obedience.
Yeah.
But really, they just love each other.
Oh,
They
and I
really
looked
love
it
each
up,
other.
and the Kraken witches do have blue blood. So all the witches,
All witches
have
have
blue
blue
blood.
blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about how the blue bloods are blue bloods, but everybody has blue
Everybody
blood.
has blue blood.
And then the yellow legs have yellow legs, but then the black beaks are just black beaks. They don't have like a
Yeah.
black beak
Uh-uh.
or anything.
And the Krakens typically wear the red cloaks.
Yes.
Manon
Yeah.
wears a red cloak because she's stolen it from the Krakens that she's killed.
yeah.
Right.
And the Krakens are Fey Vogue, and the Iron Teeth are Vogue Fey, meaning that they were both cross species, but they took on
One inherits more.
more
the
of
other.
the
Yeah.
other. So the Fey and the Krakens sided with. Sorry, are you looking at my hands?
No, I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about next. But you're
Okay.
good.
The Krakens sided with Brannon, and the Vogue, the Iron Teeth sided with the Vogue in that
war.
That war.
Yeah.
Which is where they're, and then nobody wanted witches around, which is why they got their own little wasteland. And when we read the next book, all of those, they talk about redheaded lady in the West so much, and I never caught it the first read through.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see
Same.
so many you're gonna be like, oh, that's why she kept saying that. That was weird. Oh, it's because this character, this merchant that just sells spider
Yeah.
silk. Yeah,
Oh, I love
spiders are cool.
the spiders were cool.
Yeah,
Yeah. We met giant,
it. Aragon.
slightly sentient
Aragog.
spiders.
that are
Yes,
actually kind of
Aragog. And then we found a golden ring in a mountain, like a mountain cave with a lake in it.
oh,
And
interesting.
a monster.
And a
I was
monster.
like, oh, is that going to make her invisible? Because boop, boop, I'm out.
Maybe she's just paying homage,
Yeah, I was waiting for it to come back. It does, of course, come back.
and it
but I
doesn't
was-
make her invisible.
No.
You're
But
in
it
too
does-
deep now. Even if it did make her invisible, you're sticking around to the end.
It does do something sort of like that, though. It's just not like a physical invisibility. But yeah, with a ruby the size of a chicken egg on the end of
Yeah.
a hill, which is Aelin takes, and it's the sword's name is Goldrin, and that's her sword now.
Yeah.
And that came from Brannon.
Glam during the faux hammer. Oh, wait, sorry. That's Gandalf's sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how Rowan orchestrates it, but it's really, I love it when she's trying to be sneaky and it doesn't come off as sneaky. Like he takes her to this mountain lake and freezes it and is like, go out there and save the guy in the ice while I quietly go rummage over in this like alcove over here where I have conveniently hidden the thing that I actually want you in here
But
to
isn't
get.
that the point of it? Because he's realized that the only time she can shift is when she's trying to protect someone.
It's that, but it's also he wants to get this to her.
But doesn't he find the
later.
sword?
He goes there to give her this. She thinks about that when they're in Dorandel or Donadel.
But
The
didn't he
Dornell.
like?
Maids,
But didn't he
Dornell.
did he know the sword was there? Or did he find the sword?
That's what she says. She's like, he knew I was going to need this later. And so he gave this to me so I would have it for
So
this
he
moment.
knew it was there.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he found it and then he realized what it was and was like, "This needs to be hers."
So did I. Like, I feel like I need to go back and read that again.
Me too.
I thought he found it.
I thought he was like, "Oh, look at this magical golden sword. Oh, hell, this is Goldrin. Oh, gosh, she needs this more than I do. That's Aelin Galathynius, the leader of
Rachel,
worlds."
for explaining
You're
it to
welcome.
us.
Because she's like, oh, he gave this to me for this moment. That's why he mentions the ring. He's like, I hope you find a good use for it. Because she's like, hey, I found that ring. We never talked about the ring. And he's like, I don't want to talk about the
So,
ring.
do we
but I hope you
ever
find a good
find
use for it.
out how he knew it was in there
He probably came across it on his
wanderings?
Yeah.
on his wanderings, all of his adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His hot guy wanderings.
You want to talk about hot guys? Let's talk about the cadre.
Cadre.
6
Oh,
of them.
yeah. Yes.
Ooh,
The ones that show up.
Okay. Whew. Lorcan.
She describes all of them as hot. She never once is like, Rowan's pretty. He's pretty. Like, there's one point where she's like, as much as I hate him, I had to admit he looked kind of cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other one, she's like, that guy, oof, that dude's hot.
Lorcan is like 6'7" and like dark.
Of course he is.
And yeah. And
Looking
like
is fine. I mean.
I like to spell it Fiooone. Fine. Yeah. Lorcan is, and then Gavriel, who is such a sweet character.
kitty?
He's like one of our kitty cat.
Kitty
What does she
cat.
call him?
Kitty cat.
She
Your
does.
kitty
Your
cat
little
friend.
kitty cat friend.
Yeah.
Hey, kitty cat. I love that. Hey, you little kitty. And then Connell and Cairn are wolves, like a black
Yep,
wolf and a white wolf.
twins.
And then Vaughn is an osprey. And they are this just roaming unit of badass, sexy motherfuckers.
Yeah. The sexiest men in the realm.
Obviously.
They have to.
Yeah.
They always have to be like incredibly attractive.
think about it.
One
If
of them's
you
like
were-
7.5 feet tall.
Yeah. If you were a queen.
Lorcan's the tallest, and Lorcan's only demi-fae, so Rowan's full fae. Lorcan's and Lorcan and Rowan. Well, we don't talk about Lorcan a lot in this book, so I won't say that.
Yeah, let's not.
No, they show up just to fight, and then they're again at Maeve's place.
And they are all. You can tell how interconnected they are, though, when she's like, "Hey, I will trade you this golden ring, the one ring, to rule them
And
all."
they're all like,
And they're like, huh? You can just see them like going back and forth for Rowan.
we can do that?
Whoa, Rowan's new girlfriend wants. Whoa, she's going to get him out of the blood oath. Because you can like feel that they're not necessarily.
Enjoying themselves?
Yeah.
So, what did you think about Maeve?
She's appropriately Maeve, our Fae queen.
Right?
That's not new. Mab and Maeve are often names for Fae queens, or like the Fae queen.
And then there's a third one, this other sister. I wrote it down. It doesn't matter. Mab and Mora.
Yeah.
Well, and Maeve seems really, really old. And she, to me,
she is really, really old.
really, really old.
Yeah.
And she seems, and I caught this on the first read. I was like, she's a lot darker to me than most fairy queens, but you know.
She reminded me a lot of I think her name is Mab in the Dresden Files. There's the Fae Queen of Winter, whose name is Mab. And she's extremely similar, where it's like everything she says, she means something completely different, and you have to prepare for it.
She's a little bit scary.
Yeah, she's really scary. And you're like,
Yeah.
what are you up to, lady?
And I'm just super jealous of her because she's got these 6 hot men's.
Totally
Just
wasting.
doing whatever she says.
Yep. The blood oath was drinking blood. I thought
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Yeah, he bites her a lot.
Yeah, he does.
There's definitely situations where he could have just slapped her. I mean, we've punched her before, so it's
Yeah.
definitely broken
I
ground.
mean,
but like,
he's kind of mean.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But when he's like trying to get her attention when she's falling under the spell of the Vogue or whatever, and instead of just like slapping her or shaking her, he bites her on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he always has like her blood running down his face.
Yeah.
It's just as like a fey,
Very animalistic.
feral, animalistic thing.
Yeah. How about Sorsha getting her head chopped off?
I know.
It's
that
really
was
sad.
Poor
And Dorian getting clocked or collared.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Adian ends up in jail. And Kale is out on the run.
Yeah.
Just a man without a title.
Yep.
Out and about. Trying to bring
Running them
justice.
streets.
Then he tells Mort where he's going. He's like, I know you're
Mort-
not talking to me, but I'm gonna
I know,
tell
it
She
was
you.
haven't
so
spoke
sad.
this entire book.
Mort's not in it at all. It
No.
almost feels like they couldn't. I have to keep remembering. Like, it's not like they couldn't get the actor to be there. Like, she just like wrote Mort silent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, I don't need Mort. Last book we needed Mort. We don't need
Mort
Mort
will
anymore.
only come. Yeah, I liked getting away from the. I think it's always funny in these books because the stuff that's happening is so big. You know, it feels like it's like a worldwide event, but it's not. It's just this one continent.
Yeah.
This is one continent without magic, and then the rest of the continents on the world have magic.
Yeah, they're fine.
And moving through life like nothing. And you know what I mean? I just feel
Yeah.
like there would be a more worldwide effort.
It's
to,
like this is happening in the Middle East.
yeah,
And we're over here like,
Wow.
meh,
Doesn't affect us.
that's fine.
there's peace in the Middle East right now.
Yeah, I'm just saying, as a illustration of
Sure,
what
sure,
it would
sure.
feel like.
Yeah.
Is it feels extremely distant for everybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And they're just like, we don't want anything to do with y'all because what y'all got going on over there is called fascism, dictatorship. We're not going to play with none of the dictatorship over there.
No.
The evil people with your salt mines and your Calcutta. I love that we get this one spot in the previous book where we talk about this uprising, and not until chapter 42 do we get the information that
they killed everybody.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
And it becomes, I mean, I like it when she does that. She said this thing 2 books ago, or a book ago, and then 42 chapters later, we're like, this is why it's a big deal. And
Yeah.
this is how it motivates our, and this is why it needed to happen here. But
Yeah.
anyone notice that Aylin's dad's name is Ro, and then Rowan's name is Rowan, her new best friend? I don't know.
Is her dad's name Ro?
Yeah.
Oh.
Weird, huh? And I don't understand. Was her dad king or was her uncle king?
Her uncle was king.
And her uncle didn't have kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I liked the flashback. I really enjoyed the flashbacks
Yeah.
to when she was little,
Yeah.
and like
that
her
took
going
me.
through.
And her actually reasoning through it like, oh, that wasn't me. That wasn't my fault. The
Yes.
king was doing that to me.
This-
and
Yes,
now,
and
This
she
book
figured
is
that out
so
really fast. And
necessary
it's like,
for everything to come.
thank you.
thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just like, oh, it's so nice when she's not like, I can't believe I wonder where that worm came from. Maybe it was in my food. I don't know. Like, I was so much happier with this character because she was like, oh, that fucking king did that to me.
Yeah,
He wanted me to do that. He
Yes.
wanted that demonstration.
yeah. And this is the. I bet that she had her professors read this book, or she had somebody read her stories.
Somebody was like,
and gave really good notes.
Yeah.
Or Bloomsbury saw how well it was doing and had a real editor come in and say, "This is where you need to shift.
Yeah.
And this is where you need to take it." Yeah.
poor Selena.
Yeah.
She tries so hard.
Damn it.
Yeah. It is hard that she couldn't get her shit together.
Yeah, and once again, oh no, we talked about that in Serpents in the Wings of Night because the gods in that universe are like real.
Right.
And
right,
so
yeah.
in this universe,
I'm
they
reading
are
that right
again.
now.
How far in?
Like chapter 4 or 5.
That's good, man.
My Kindle died, so I had to plug it up.
Oh no. But like Maya, the sun goddess, we actually, like, she's a presence. Selena can feel her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that. Yep.
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 We'll wait.
I was like,
Um,
okay.
But overall, I'm really glad to hear that this book connected better, that you connected to
Yes.
this. That makes me feel a lot better about...
She's figured it out.
Yeah, and this will be the character that we get to move along with and grow with for the next...
And everybody got to be better. Kale got to be better. Dorian got to be better because we weren't just spending our time simping over Selena.
Yeah, and...
Kale's even like, it hurts right now, but I'm going to get over this.
Yeah, and he's
Thank the Lord.
Right,
Yeah.
but he's going to be emo about it, and he's dead on. Like, and I really, when she broke up with him, you can't go back to somebody that you beat the fuck out of.
No,
beat up.
no going back.
You know what your husband said the other night? He doesn't use profanity, and so I'm like, okay.
He does. He didn't for a long time. And so for a while, it was like watching an old person try to cuss. He'd be like, well, shit. Like, and then he'd look so proud of himself.
I did it.
Otherwise, it's so funny. A lady that I work with, and I won't use names because every time I use names, you cut that out, and I won't do it anymore. Because I told the best story last week and it got cut out.
Because you said like
their name
specifically where you work.
Ah, yes. Okay. I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
But
You're
tell me
welcome.
later.
Well, or I might bring the story up again because it's one of my favorite stories, and it's really relevant.
Just don't be like, that person I work with? That person I work with at my realtor firm? The name of my realtor firm?
And our address
Here's
is...
the name and address. And
This is where you can find me. This is where I live.
Her
Please
license number
don't
is...
call me, text me. Please just show up at my front door. What were we talking about?
Especially after that podcaster just got killed. Did you hear about that?
What?
There was a podcaster that was killed by like a fan. She had a fan that was like stalking her.
What podcaster?
She was
she a true crime podcaster?
I don't know if she
That
was
would
true
be
crime, but it was
much.
like she had filed a restraining order and all because they had
Oh,
found her.
Ooh, I'll have to look that up. That's psycho.
They killed her and her husband and then killed himself.
Oh, was it a man?
Yeah. Oh, you know what Matt said?
What?
He said you were talking about something about men, and he was like, well, I always like to hang out with women. And you were like, you don't count. And he goes, I really felt like it was a compliment that I'm not a man to Kate.
It is.
Oh, that's so nice.
It is a compliment.
Well, I didn't mean it like that. I don't know if that's what happened.
I think he was just that because you were talking about your voice and how a lot of men don't like female voices. And he
Right,
was like,
right,
well,
right.
I do because I hang out with a lot of women. And you were like, but you don't count. And he was like, I really take it as a compliment that I don't count as a man to Kate.
Well,
That's not what she meant, but I get what he says.
I genuinely think that he's a top notch.
He means like a man.
No,
like,
like he's not a
dude
a
bro.
bro.
Yeah.
Bag.
Actually, the first time I saw y'all, I didn't know you guys yet, and I was at our mutual friend's house, and I was like, you were in the house, or maybe you weren't there yet. He walked around the house, and I was like, there's a bro walking through your yard.
Yeah, he was wearing his She-Ra high-fiving Rainbow Bright shirt.
I didn't see that. I just saw this guy in like shorts. I was like, yo, there's a bro walking through the yard. No, but he's not the kind of guy I'm talking about.
Right,
He's
that's what he
a
meant.
man
He
that
was
can listen to
He
a
was
woman.
serious.
Yes.
That's what he meant.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
good. I genuinely think that there are people out there that aren't good at listening to women's voices.
Yeah.
And I was talking about my insecurity about how feminine and like short my vocal cords are. So my voice is like 10 octaves higher than most people. I'm very high pitched, and then I get really excited, and that like I'm jealous of Rachel's and yours podcast voices.
See, I had no idea what my voice sounded like until about 2 weeks ago. So
You have nice deep
I had no idea.
Deep
I was like,
voices.
is that my voice?
My voice.
Why do I sound so husky?
Well, and
Sultry.
yeah, and you just have a clear speaking. Meanwhile, I have spit in my mouth. I can barely form sentences, and I'm high pitched and really passionate and excited.
Hey,
all the time.
Well, it's good.
Excited
You
is
don't
fine.
want all the same pitches,
No.
Right,
you know?
right. But
We need you, Kate.
I'm glad that he knows that I don't see him as
a bro.
Yeah,
he's
bro.
a not all men to me,
Yeah.
but in a good, positive way.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he meant.
Yeah, awesome, wonderful.
Yeah.
Love that that's great. I don't. Yeah,
I don't know. This was a better book.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was.
In summary, she finally figured it out because
Yeah.
we actually get Selena thinking through things. Like when she realizes that the amulet is a word key.
Instantly.
And she's like, oh shit, but I lost it. And then
she's
she's like, no, I wouldn't have lost it.
And then she
it's
goes,
a word key.
And then she goes, I understand the stakes of that. So my next step is to get back there and find it.
Yeah.
And that's when we get to go visit her past and meet Arabin, who
Right.
some people have already met because they read this other book first, because they read it chronologically. And that is where we're headed, is we're going back to all these short little stories where she's chasing pirates, and we get to see assassin Elena, or Selena, actually. So I'm excited.
I'm interested to get your take on that, because we do have to go
back to Bratty.
Hmm.
We gotta go Bratty.
We gotta
a little
go
bit.
back to Bratty for a little bit, but we'll be right back to this. Okay.
Well, and she's
I'm
just
fine
hang
with
on to this.
It wasn't necessarily the character. It was Sarah J. Maas was very fixated on praising that character. So every time Selena was doing something, like anytime she was doing anything that seemed like stupendous or whatever, we would literally switch to an outside point of view so that we could be like, wow, look how good she is at that. Wow, she's really fast. Wow, that's the best character I have ever seen written in a novel ever. And so after a while, you're like, okay, but back it up for me.
Yeah. Well, and
Back it up for
and I
me.
think she does. She does do a little bit of that in this too, because I do get a little bit annoyed when everybody becomes a specific female character centric.
Yeah.
Like every man in the book is just constantly thinking about her. And when you think about where she's going and who she does become, it makes a lot of sense. She does need to be the person that inspires loyalty and,
have that personality
right.
magnetism.
And she does. But that Chaos alien thing where they were both kind of really both completely motivated by her. It was, I really love hearing Alien talk about her and how much she is loved.
Mm-hmm.
And, her understanding what that means. And this book is great. The details are great. The magic's great. It just opens it up. The witches and the flying puppies is just my favorite thing.
I love it.
Manon is so great. She's
a very smart character too.
Yeah, she's super smart.
Yeah.
She's almost like it's almost like how she wanted Selena to be.
Yes. How she wanted Selena to
And she
present
was like,
in the
I need
first
to
couple of
start
books.
over. And
Yeah.
Manon immediately comes off as,
Because as soon as she realizes like that meat smells funny, she's like, okay, then we're not eating it anymore.
yeah,
I don't need an explanation. I don't need to, this isn't some kind of trick or a joke or whatever. I can just immediately be like, okay, this is probably bad for you. We're going to try doing something different.
Yeah, let's go up to the mountaintop and eat some goats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fresh goat.
Goat. Right.
Must have been a lot of goats.
Yeah.
Mountain goats.
Because even the Blue Bloods were like,
Hundreds
we've started doing that too.
Hundreds of mountain goats.
how many
I mean,
goats
there
are
are a
there?
lot of
Many
There's a lot of
goats.
mountains. There's a lot of mountains. I think
Yeah,
it's like
they
And-
can fly, so they're covering.
Yeah, they're
pretty
not
good
just going
distance.
out and like, there's
They
just
haven't
a
just wiped out their
kiosk of
mountains.
goats.
So let's talk a little bit about our bad guy and what we've learned in this book, and then I feel like that would be a decent
Yeah.
place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
We've learned that the collars are allowing Vogue princes and these dark creatures from other realms to inhibit.
Inhabit.
I was about to change it.
Yeah.
And inhibit their
to keep
personality
people from
inhabit them too.
remaining themselves.
Yeah.
Inhabit magical creatures.
Yeah.
And that demi-phase are best because they just take better.
They're already
So
magical. So they can-
anytime we see the black ring, it was really cool that Adian figured out the black ring instantly.
Yeah.
No, bro, I'm not wearing your ring.
Again, it
Threw
was
it
just
in the
like,
sea.
that smells bad. I'm just going to get
Right.
another one.
We've learned that there is a host in Morath, which
Yeah.
sounds a lot like Morgoth,
It does a little bit.
or Mordor.
More doors is
I
what
feel
I'm
like
thinking.
I just feel like those sounds make
It's because it's part of the like
Smart.
fantasy.
see lore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just sounds evil. So we know that, Ardalan, King Ardalan is
Otterland.
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 Remember, think of the otter.
Otterland.
Yeah, Otterlin.
Otterlin.
No D.
Otterlin.
It's not a hard D. There is no D. So
Otterlin.
yeah.
Yeah. So Otterlin is he about to fuck it up. He's been planning this for a really long time.
Yeah, he's been
Yeah.
he is trying to work with the Vogue without being in complete control of them. So you get the sense that he's probably as much a pawn as thinks he's in charge of it, but he's probably more of a pawn because she points out several times, well, if he doesn't have all the word keys, then he's playing a dangerous game.
Right. Yeah, he's not. Yeah. That's really intuitive of you, Rachel.
Thank you.
Didn't catch that in this book. Is fine.
Because they mention it like a couple of times.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right.
He is also wearing a ring, isn't he?
Yeah.
The king?
Yeah. He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but
Hannah, you good?
I just thought, you know who we didn't talk about?
Who?
Was old Gimpy. All this
Alid?
Alid.
Oh, she's okay. So Alid is mentioned several times in this book, and I had never noticed her name. And we will meet more of her. So Alid, when we get that flashback with Marion, who was her mom's best friend and handmaid, and how
her daughter.
Her
daughter.
Alid was Marion, and so Marion.
I've only seen it written.
Yeah, right. I thought it was Marianne. I'd only ever heard it. So, but it's Marion. So we get mention of Marion, and I love that we get this part in the book where she goes, it's just such a small part where she's like, I'm not going to talk about that. And she's like, that's not what makes me feel the most bad. It's not my parents dying that makes me feel the most bad.
Yeah.
And it makes so much more sense why the Nehemiah sacrifice.
Yes.
It comes it and it brings it full circle. And so we get this small mention, and I'm like, wait, Aylin, I want to know more about that. And then later on, we get this flashback where she's like, Marion, who had this little girl who was my mom's best friend, she literally sacrificed herself so that I could get out. And she told me, take this, run, and you be something. Her mom gave her the amulet that night. You have to be something. You have to do something. And she wasted it. And so now that, like, when we get that full circle, we're like, oh, this is why you're such an asshole.
Yeah.
This is why you're you get such a fuller glimpse. Like, she's so much more of a full character.
Yeah. And it's really unfair that the second book is the way it is. Because I was looking up some more other criticism of it. And it was like I could have written it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the only one who had the problems with the second book that I had. But it would be really unfair to quit in the second book because the second book is so challenging. And then not get to this book.
Right.
Yeah.
And Sarah J. Maas makes some choices in the second book that I think really turn a lot of people off. And it would be worth, they're never going to revisit it, but it'd be worth it. Like, Nehemiah is the only named character of color in the first two books.
Yeah.
And she dies so that the whiny white girl can go fulfill her destiny.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when not knowing any of this backstory, you're like, well, okay, great. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.
White lady Sarah. We really
Well,
appreciate
this is also that's also like a 2012, 2013 book, which is also still in the Office era, still in the era where the stuff being written and put on TV just wasn't quite up to par yet.
Yeah.
So we have really shifted culturally.
Yeah, but if we had this, if we had, not that we needed to reveal this in the second book, but the number of people that would be turned off by that and don't move on to find out more.
But if we had this well-roundedness.
Yeah, and she could have given us a glimpse of this in the second book to make it so we understood why she freaked the fuck out over Nehemiah. Instead of leaving us going, oh, okay, I mean, it was shitty. It was terrible. I'm mad. I'm as mad as you are, but I'm going to go kill people mad.
Yeah. And I wonder if you get more of a glimpse of it if you read Assassin's Blade first, because some bad stuff happens. You get a little bit more insight into her like later year trauma, right? Like we get more Sam stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious, but I don't know. I never read that first.
Me either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. And I was just listening to these so fast that I do absorb reading books way different than listening to books too. I will listen through something, but I won't read through it because if I can't get through it, it's boring.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I do realize that some of your criticisms, other people feel that way. Are you hot?
I'm boiling.
Oh.
My feet are cold. I can put them on you.
Put them on my face because my face is
Oh,
boiling.
that's interesting. Let me take a picture of that.
All right, well, I
Guys,
think we can just...
we found our first Patreon content, and it's feet on Hannah's face pictures.
We have an exclusive Patreon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was us getting drunk and watching Forever Night and then waxing nostalgic, or waxing philosophic, I should say, on the nature of human sexuality and intimacy for like 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
We did like a watch along, and the show is only 48 minutes long, and the episode is like an hour and 40 minutes long because we just talked.
Wow.
I mean, it's pretty enlightening. Gilgamesh was brought up.
I will listen. Or is it YouTube?
It's on Patreon.
Okay.
It's Patreon exclusive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like
Sounds like a trend.
Yeah, trendsetter.
one day this week, we got like 15 follows on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what's happening. Kate's like, yeah, that's me. That's my friends.
Well, I was responsible for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those
It was just one of those days where it was like the algorithm was
on our side.
I was
on our
responsible
side.
for maybe 2 or 3 of them.
we're up to 147.
I went to
Wow.
everybody's phone in the office and said, "Can I see your phone?" And then I followed us.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That's a good way to do it.
But the teen in my office,
Yeah.
the teen in the office was listening.
The teen. That's funny. The teen in the office.
Yeah, that's what I call her. She likes it.
Yeah.
I hope she likes it. She's sweet. I love her.
Hey, teen.
Hey, teen.
Hi,
You know who
teen.
you are.
You know who you are.
I
We
love
won't
you.
say your
You're
name.
my favorite.
This is all to say we have an Instagram and you can follow us on there. Hey, maybe we could get to 200. We're already over the highest number of followers that I've ever had on Instagram ever. So I feel pretty good right now.
That's excellent.
Growth is
It's
steady
so funny.
and linear
And
when
we
it comes to
have-
followers.
And we have a YouTube channel now.
Neat.
So I've been uploading videos. They're not really videos. They're just like a still image with our podcast.
Oh, okay.
And I made playlists. So now you can specifically look for book talks.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
You don't have to sort through everything if you go through the YouTube channel. And we still have the Patreon, which maybe I'll put my feet on Hannah's face. We'll take a picture and put it on Patreon.
Yep,
I don't know.
and
Could
that will
happen.
be $400.
Things get wild on Patreon. There's like 4 of us. It's crazy.
crazy.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
But again, that Strange and Beautiful book club. So you can find us there. And next week will be the Superfan edition. So we hope to find you there.
Okay, see you soon.
See you then.
Bye.